vitamin E, which is the fat soluble vitamins. Whenever we listen the word fats, so we just have to memorize two things. Fat soluble vitamins not easily excreted from our body. It means that they can cause toxicity in our body. So, but the important thing which you have to remember about the vitamin E cause less toxicity as compared to the other fat soluble vitamins like the vitamin D, vitamin A, etc. And second thing which you have to remember about the fat soluble vitamins, they are actually absorbed in our body along with the fats, as they are soluble in fats. So actually they are absorbed in our body along with the fats. In this lecture we are going to discuss the different aspects of the vitamin E. So let's start. First of all, we will discuss the different forms of the vitamin E. So two major forms, that is the tocopherol and tocotrienol. Okay, here are basically the two most important forms of the vitamin E. Second, tocopherol further consists of four types. Okay, if you see here, tocopherol consists of four types: alpha tocopherol, beta tocopherol, gamma tocopherol, and the delta tocopherol. Here are basically the four different types of the tocopherol. Okay. Similarly, for the tocotrienol, you will see that the alpha tocotrienol, beta tocotrienol, gamma tocotrienol, and the delta tocotrienol. Here are basically the 8 different forms of the vitamin E. But the most important and the most active form will be the alpha tocopherol. Here is the most active form of vitamin E. So if you see here, this is the structure of the alpha tocopherol, and in that case you will see presence of the two rings and along with the side chain. Okay, if we discuss the different sources of the vitamin E, so basically two major sources of the vitamin E: animal source and the plant source. In the animal source you will see meat, egg, and the milk. But keep remember one thing in your mind, that the human milk contains large amount of the vitamin E as compared to the cow's milk. Okay. And plant sources, you will see the vegetables, oils, and the peanut oils. Here are basically the different sources of the vitamin E. And if you look at the recommended dietary allowance, and that is the 15 milligram per day is the requirement of the vitamin E for the adults. Okay, if we discuss the functions of the vitamin E, so most important functions of the vitamin E is the antioxidant. It will remove the oxygen and oxygen free drive radicals. Okay, so if you look at the blood vessels, okay, in the blood vessels you will see the three most important layers: tunica intima, tunica media, and the tunica adventitia, or you can say tunica externa. So first layer is the tunica intima. Okay, second will be the tunica media, that is the muscular layer, and external will be the tunica adventitia, or you can say externa. Okay, here are basically the different three layers of the blood vessels. Okay, so if you see here in our body, you will see the presence of the LDL, LDL, presence of the low density lipoprotein in the blood vessels. Okay, so these low density lipoproteins penetrate into the tunica media. Here is the presence of the low density lipoproteins. Okay, so in the presence of the free radicals, these LDL can convert into the oxidized LDL. Okay, in the presence of the free radical, these LDL can convert into the oxidized LDL. Okay, in the presence of free radicals, oxygen drive free radicals, conversion of LDL into the oxidized LDL. Now these oxidized LDL will attract the macrophages. So basically in the blood vessels you will see the presence of the monocytes. Okay, here is the monocytes. These monocytes penetrate into the tissue and they will convert into the macrophage. That's the most important thing. Macrophage is actually present in the tissue. Okay, now these macrophages will engulf the oxidized LDL. Okay, so in that case you will see a process in which the macrophages engulf the oxidized LDL. Here is the presence of the oxidized LDL. Lot of oxidized LDL will start accumulating inside the macrophages. And in that case, these macrophages will convert into the foam cell. That's the most important thing. You will see the foam cell formation. Okay. So in that case, you will see a state reached when you will see the lot of foam cell accumulate in the layer of the blood vessel, and in that case you will see the accumulations of the lot of foam cells and ultimately formations of the plaque. Here are basically the different foam cells having oxidized LDL, and in that case you will see the formations of the plaque. Formations of the plaque. Okay, and you will see the borrow or the whole of the blood vessel will start narrowing. Here is the flow of the blood, and you will see the flow of blood will face the hindrance due to the formations of the plaque. That is the atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. Athero means formations of the atheroma plaque. Sclerosis means hardening. That is actually the formations of the plaque due to the depositions of the lipids or fats. That is the one thing. With the passage of the time, you will see the damage of the endothelium, that is the innermost layers of the blood vessel. When you see the rupture or damage to the endothelium, then what will happen? Then another process will start, that is the coagulation process. Because when the collagen exposed to the blood, then you will see lot of platelets start accumulating at that side. That is actually the formations of the clot. That is another thing. That is formation of thrombus. So that actually happens in the most severe case. So you will see there is a difference between the plaque and the thrombus. Plaque is just formations of or depositions of the lipid, and thrombus will form due to the coagulation process, accumulations of the platelets. Okay, now in that case you will see the blood vessel will start narrowing and supply of the blood to the organ will start reduce. If this process happens in the coronary arteries, heart arteries, then what will happen? The muscles of the heart will start destroying, and that actually cause the MI, myocardial infarction, heart attack. That is actually the cardiovascular disease related to the vessels and the heart. That is actually the most important thing. Atherosclerosis go towards the MI, myocardial infarction. That actually the normal process. But when someone take the vitamin E, then vitamin E actually work as antioxidant. They actually remove the free radicals. When there is no free radicals, there is no conversion of LDL to oxidized LDL, there is no formations of the foam cell, there is no formations of the plaque, and there is no cardiovascular disease. Okay, that is the most important function. So that's why vitamin E work as antioxidant. And next, if we discuss the RBCs. So actually RBCs are susceptible by the free radicals. Free radicals attack on the RBC's membrane. Okay, so different free radicals, oxygen drive free radicals attack on the RBCs and destroy the RBCs. And when you see the destructions of the RBCs, you will see the anemia. You will see the anemia in that case. So actually, when someone take the vitamin E, so vitamin E actually remove the free radicals. When there is no free radicals, there is no damaging to the membrane of the RBCs, and RBCs will survive in that case. So that is the most important function, or you can say vitamin E is helpful in the prevention of the RBCs. So that is the most important thing. And next you will see the vitamin E is actually helpful in the preventions of the vitamin E dependent retinopathy. Retinopathy. Vitamin E actually helpful in the preventions of the most important layers of the eye, and that is the retina. That is again the most important thing. And these two process, hemolysis, RBCs destruction, and the retinopathy, mostly happens in the very low weight infants. So actually vitamin E supplements can prevent from hemolysis and the retinopathy. But this actually happens, atherosclerosis happens in the later age. So actually what actually changes in our body that actually causes vitamin E deficiency in our body? So as we know that the vitamin E is actually fat soluble vitamin, so actually vitamin E absorb along with the fat in our body. So if you see here in this intestine, you will see the vitamin E absorbed in our body along with the fats in the form of chylomicron take the vitamin E and enter in our body. When there is a defect in the absorptions of the chylomicrons or fats, then you will see the deficiency of the vitamin E in our body, and that is mostly happens in the A beta lipoproteinemia in which you will see the malabsorptions of the fats, and ultimately you will see the deficiency of the vitamin E in our body. So this is all about the vitamin E. If you still have any question, you may ask in the comment section. Thank you so much.